Hi everyone, it's Misty here from TheJollyFatElf. Welcome to day number 1 of the 2021 holiday card series. You guys, we made it to September. Give yourself a pat on the back. So if you're new here, new to my channel, new to card making, I'm TheJollyFatElf and Christmas is my happy place. And I look forward to this holiday card series every single year, but I think over the last 2 years I've looked forward to it even more. I love immersing myself in the holidays. I love creating Christmas and holiday cards. I love sharing all of this with you, and I hope that you will consider subscribing to stick around. So a little asterisk here. I know a lot of you hate when I do this, but I feel like it's pertinent to what's happening over the next few weeks. The day this video goes live, I'm having hand surgery. And so I have spent the last week-ish or so bulk filming videos. So you will have a video starting today, every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, to at least October the 1st. I'm hoping by the end of September, I will be mostly healed and I will be able to do more. Luckily, it is my non-dominant hand, it's my left hand. So hopefully I will be able to still create as we get later in the month, because my goal is to do this entire series for the entire holiday season. I want to at least make it to December 1st. So that's my goal. Hopefully that's what's going to happen going forward. So a couple of things that I'm doing differently this year is you're going to see more of the videos where it's zero stamping. You guys really asked for more videos like that. Listen, I love stamps. I love stamping. I love coloring stamps. I love paper piecing. I love all of that, but sometimes it's fun to take something that someone else has created for you and just put it together, and you can send it to friends and loved ones for it's inexpensive. So we're gonna be doing that probably 4 times a month, maybe. We'll see. I do have 4 for this month. So that's gonna be something that we do. Another thing that you're gonna see me do is reuse stamp sets, papers, techniques, etc. I think sometimes we get wrapped up in all of the new, and I know in years past I've basically used a new stamp set for every single video, and I don't want to do that this year. I want to show you ways to use the stamp at least twice. Instead of doing like a 1 stamp 3 ways where it's in one video, I really want to devote time to each image, in each individual video. So that's something that's going to be kind of a theme for this holiday card series, is repetition. We're going to be using stamp sets more than once. We're going to be using papers more than once. We're going to be stamping. We're going to be die cutting. We're going to be doing all of the things within this series. So I am having hand surgery, like I mentioned, so I may be slow to answer comments. I am reading them. I haven't quite decided how I'm going to handle giveaways during the holiday card series. Normally I have you guys answer a question of the day, and then I pick from that. So I think until I've decided, just go ahead and leave a comment, letting me know what you thought of the card, if you hate it, if you loved it, and then at the end of each month, I'll decide what will be the prize, etc. I just haven't had an opportunity to sit down and do that because, like I said, I bulk filmed. I'm filming this on Labor Day, so it's Monday the 6th. I finished my last card yesterday, which was Sunday, and I edited 13 videos yesterday. So I'm filming all the intros today, so you're going to see the same hair, makeup, shirt, like I said, for all of these pre-filmed videos. And I hope that will be okay with you. And that's why you haven't seen me around quite as much, is because I really wanted to have an opportunity to get some stuff filmed ahead. So enough jibber jabbing. Let's talk about today's card. So I purchased this stamp set, I want to say last year. Maybe it was early this year. I don't know. It's from Your Next Stamp. and it has the cutest mice. They are so stinking cute. And for today's card, we're gonna be using the cute little mouse with the gingerbread, and I'm gonna actually be coloring with Crayola pencils. So that's another thing that you're gonna be seeing through the holiday card series, is me coloring images or paper piecing images, me using Copics, me using colored pencils, me using Crayola crayons, me using Crayola pencils, us watercoloring. We're gonna be doing a lot of different techniques in these videos. So yeah, and I think that's it. I think that's all I have to say. So let's head over to my craft table and we will get started on day one's card. Okay friends, like I mentioned, we're gonna be using this Your Next stamp set, and I am bringing in some papers from Echo Park. I believe these were from last year. This is a gingerbread Christmas, and the other one I brought in was a lumberjack Christmas, but I decided not to use that one. So I was really drawn to this gingerbread pattern with the snowflakes, and I was also really drawn to the gingerbread houses. So I wanted to leave this in to kind of give you an idea of how I go about picking papers and design, etc. So I am using the MFT Extreme Black Hybrid ink. I've had issues with the Gina K, smearing, etc. So I've moved on to this. So that's what I'm using for this one today. And like I mentioned, I'm going to be using some Crayola colored pencils. And I'm bringing in some browns, and I'm going to bring in some grays to give the contrast between the two. But I'm just doing some really simple coloring. We're just going darkest to lightest, adding a little bit of shading, and trying to keep the center as bright as we can. So this is the largest pack I think they sell. I picked it up off Amazon. This just goes to show that you don't have to spend a ton of money on coloring if you don't want to. And in fact, like I said, you're going to see me color with crayons at some point in this series. So when you see me go off to the side here, I have my pencil sharpener there. It just wouldn't fit in the screen. So I just have the same paper that I've stamped on off to the side. I think this is Nina 110 pound solar white. If it's not, it's the Hammermill cardstock that I use for Copic. I can't tell them apart sometimes, and I just keep white scraps nearby. And for something like this, like I don't need a Copic friendly paper to color with colored pencils. So the issue that I ran into though using these crayon or colored pencils is not having as many colors as you might. But I also find I have the same issue with my Prismacolors. So at the end of the day, if you're someone who's new to coloring and you just want to try it out, I suggest getting some of these Crayola pencils, and you can also get Gamsol and get really similar results that you can to the artist grade ones. Is it going to be the exact same? No, because these aren't artist grade pencils, but you're going to be able to get a really pretty colored image. So I'm coloring in his ears with a pink, and then I'm going to go over it with a little bit of a darker pink, and then I think I eventually bring in like a light beigey color to also go over it to tone it down just a little bit. Oh, bring in a white. For the frosting, the frosting on her head, I guess it's frosting on her head, I left it white and then brought in a red pencil for this. I think they're supposed to be sprinkles. Don't quote me on that. She's got little dots on her head, and then she also has the poinsettia, and then he has a holly leaf and berries, and then of course the mistletoe. So we're going to be coloring with some greens and some reds, and I'm trying to keep them with the same tone as the paper, since the paper is more of a kind of a deeper, darker barn red. You know, cherry cobbler would be a really good color comparison, I think, if you're thinking Stampin' Up. Probably not Moroccan Spice, but like one of the deeper colors from My Favorite Things. I really love this stamp set. Like I mentioned in the intro, you're going to be seeing this again for sure. And yeah, it's just really, really cute, really fun, really easy to color. Again, this is simple coloring, just a little bit of shading to give it a little bit of something extra, but nothing too out of control or something that would be too hard to complete. Colored is a little bow tie red, and then like I said, I'm going to add in the sprinkles a little bit red, just kind of keeping this to the color palette that we pulled out. So once I've done that, I'm going to bring in a white gel pen. I kind of went over what would be the frosting, the rickrack, the wavy lines, whatever you want to call it. I kind of went over those with the white gel pen. It did smear a little bit. I found that it wasn't able to color over the waxiness of the colored pencil. So it was kind of a moot point, but if I had been a little bit more careful, it wouldn't have been quite an issue. So yeah. So I had an idea. I remembered that I had this snowflake from Queen & Company. This actually cuts for a shaker card, but we're actually going to use it as a layer. And then I'm using, I think this is the second to the largest stitched circle from either Simon Says Stamp or from Stampin' Up. I honestly don't remember. So I cut out the image, and then I'm going to cut out the snowflake in Craft, because Craft is kind of the color that's the snowflake, the gingerbread is in this package. So you can see there that the middle comes out for you to do your shaker, because this was part of, I believe, the All Bundled Up kit from Queen & Co. But I went ahead and just added some tape runner to the back of that, and when I put it down, it ended up keeping everything together. So it really worked out. So here I am going back and forth deciding on what patterns I want. I knew that I wanted to make sure that this card had those snowflake cookies, because that's the whole reason why I used this die, was because I wanted it to mimic that. So I brought in, like I just kept bringing in different papers and just playing around with it. Now remember, I've mentioned this before, and you'll probably hear me mention it 100 times again. When you're going to pick pattern paper, number one, it's always easier if you're using a pack of paper like this, but both of these packs are from Echo Park. They play well together because Echo Park basically uses the same colors, but you want one that is a large pattern, one that is a medium pattern, and then one that works as kind of a neutral or kind of a solid pattern is that's the actual word I'm looking for. So the tone, kind of tone on tone, nothing too big, something that is that's smaller than the rest of them. So I ended up picking 4 patterns. So I have the largest one as the cookies, and then I used this green with snowflakes, then the one with the gumdrops, and then this pattern, which is the solid to go down the middle. So all of the layers are cut to the same length, but not to the same width. I really like the look of that, and I am just using a piece of craft cardstock that I cut down to 4 1/4 by 11, and I've scored that at 5 1/2. So I'm going to bring in some tape, some Scotch mounting foam. I am almost out of this. I ordered a new roll last week. It was supposed to be here yesterday. Amazon has somehow lost the package. And I'm like, what are you doing to me? Give me my adhesive. So this is just a bit easier. You could use dots if you wanted to, or I even have squares. But this is just a little bit easier because you can cut it a bit bigger. So I'm going to put this kind of towards the top, but I also decided that I wanted to go ahead and stamp a sentiment. So I am bringing in the leftover of cardstock of that snowflake that we cut out, and I'm bringing in the little mini Misty. And I'm going to be stamping this using a dark red from Gina K Designs. Sorry, this is a little off frame. I have a piece of tape, but I may need to move it up a little bit. But you're really not missing much. I'm seriously just inking it up and stamping it down. Then I'm going to bring in a small rectangle, a stitch rectangle from Pink and Main to cut out our sentiment. And I feel like that's just absolutely perfect. And I wanted to make sure that we had a little bit more stitching to mimic the stitching on the snowflake, because as of right now, none of the layers have stitching on them. So again, I'm gonna go ahead and add some of the scotch to the back of that, and then we'll get that adhered to the card. You may have seen me putting away my dies. So I store my dies on magnetic sheets that I've attached to chipboard. And then I use the same storage packets that I use for my 4x6 stamp sets. And that just seems to work easier. They go in a basket. One of these days you'll get a craft room tour. One of these days you'll get a craft room tour. So to finish up this card, I'm just adding a couple more pieces of adhesive. So the snowflakes are a little bit higher up. But after I do that, I'm going to bring in some shimmer and a couple of gold dots for our sentiment. And that's going to be it. That is it for day one of the 2021 holiday card series. I'm so excited to have you here with me. I'm so excited to get this started, and I hope you enjoyed this card just as much as I did. These cards will hopefully be available in my Etsy shop around the 1st of October, but that's it. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you Friday for day number 2. Bye for now.